Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Last night I watched the RNC, the last night with Trump's speech, and I have a lot to say. But before we get into this video, I want you to go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit that like button, get into the comments because I really want to talk about this. I have a lot to say. So I started off by giving it, best effort. I watched the DNC last week. This week I was like, let me just go ahead and watch the RNC, see what they have to say, see what the platform is going to be all about, see what the future of the country would look like if we really don't already have a sense under a second term with Donald Trump. Needless to say, it was everything that I was expecting and everything that I wasn't expecting. There was so much fear and antagonizing and all types of stuff that I just was not expecting on that level. We know that every 4 years or every 2 years, the underlying current of a lot of these Republican efforts to get out the vote are motivated by fear. Fear of what the Democrats are going to do, fear of candidates of color, fear of people coming into your neighborhoods and scaring your children, all that stuff. But this year, it's like they dialed that up so high that it was just ridiculous. Talking about Donald Trump was going to save America from the protests and the riots in the streets, and if you elect Joe Biden, then the country is just going to be in turmoil and all these horrible things are going to happen and all this crazy stuff. I think that the biggest thing that was telling about what is actually happening in the country right now is as if Donald Trump's America doesn't exist in his world. The stuff and the violence and the protests and all the things that people are rising up against and rising up for, he's like, oh, well, this is what is going to happen if Joe Biden is president. But this is what's happening right now while Trump is president. Doesn't really make too much sense to me, that logic at all. All this week, we basically saw a rewriting of history, a rewriting of travel bans on people coming into this country, a rewriting of Trump's stance on immigration, a rewriting of how he's handled COVID-19 and America's lack of plan or response for any of that stuff. We basically saw the Republican National Convention come together under an umbrella of don't believe anything that you're seeing right now. Trump has feelings. He loves people. He's not doing all these terrible things that are going on. Don't believe the news, but everything that you see is exactly what's going to be happening in 2021 if you elect Joe Biden. It made absolutely no sense to me. There were definitely some jaw-dropping moments during those pre-recorded clips. Like several times over. One of the first times that my jaw dropped was when we saw that couple that was confronting those Black Lives Matter protesters with guns, and they were sitting there on that couch in their house that looked like something from Downton Abbey or something, talking about these protesters are going to be in your neighborhood, scaring your children, doing all types of horrible things to your neighborhood if Joe Biden is elected. And it's like, wait a minute, y'all were just standing on your front porches waving semi-automatic weapons at unarmed protesters. And you're telling me that we have to worry about other people when y'all are the threats to us? Come on now. Like, I'm recording this video on the day that DC is seeing a huge influx of protests because of the Get Off Our Necks protest. It's interesting that this is happening one day after Trump gave his very negative, very triggering, acceptance speech for his party's nomination. It's absolutely crazy. And the only thing that I can say is get out and vote. We know that in 2016, Hillary Clinton actually won the popular vote by over 3 million votes, but we're targeting those areas, those small counties, those low population counties in like Wisconsin and Michigan and those states in the Midwest. 77,000 votes got Donald Trump elected in 2016. So many people did not vote. So many people wrote in Barack Obama or Mickey Mouse. And now we have stuff where people are talking about writing in Kanye West. Like, come on, y'all. We cannot go through another 4 years of this. Every single day of the Trump presidency has been a headache. We can't do this anymore. So please get out and vote. If you don't do anything, vote, stand in line, prepare to be in line for a long time, because they're sabotaging our electoral system. They are, attacking USPS, talking about, mail-in voting is not safe and people hack the system and there's a lot of fraud, and it's just not factual. It's just not happening. It hasn't happened in the past at these levels that they're talking about, and we don't expect for it to happen in the future. We have so many reports that talk about how the U.S. Postal Service is preparing and prepared to handle an influx of mail due to people voting virtually or voting by mail. It's safe. I've done it. Donald Trump has done it. Millions of Americans have done it. If we can send a ballot to a soldier who's on the front lines in the Middle East and he can vote or she can vote without an issue, then we can send these ballots and these ballot applications to North Carolina without issue. But be prepared to vote. Be prepared to stand in line. Be prepared to have your friends, have your family with you. Be prepared with a mask. If you can get gloves, get gloves. Be safe while you're doing it, but people are trying to really keep us from exercising our rights. And it's time that we sit there and say, absolutely not. Not again. Not again. I know people have issues with Kamala Harris. I know people have issues with Joe Biden, but every other option is 10 times better than Trump. Every other option. Hell, Kanye West might be better than Donald Trump, but don't go out there and vote for Kanye West. Don't do that, please. If you haven't watched the RNC, if you haven't watched the DNC last week, please go back and find the clips. They're definitely on YouTube. They're definitely all over the media. Find the high points, find the low points. Watch what these people are actually saying to us. Watch how they're framing their messaging, because that is so important. Are they going to scare you into voting for them, or are they going to give you something actually to vote for? All I saw this week was the RNC saying, don't vote for this. Don't vote for this. Vote for Trump because you're against this. Vote for Trump because you're against Joe Biden. When during the DNC, I saw plans. I saw so many different types of people from so many different backgrounds talking about their hopes and their dreams for America, and how Joe Biden has been receptive to that. How Kamala Harris has been receptive to that. There is hope in all of this stuff. Don't get drowned out by all of the noise. Don't get distracted by all of the fear mongering and all of that stuff. Listen to how they're speaking to us. Listen to the lack of plans that they have, and vote, vote, vote. November 3rd, 2020. Get ready. If you can vote early, vote early. There are so many states that offer early voting, early mail-in voting, all that stuff. Take advantage of that. Get into the comments. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me what your reactions are to the RNC and to the DNC. Let's talk about all of this stuff. All right? And I'll see you next week. Peace.